Welcome everybody to this webinar on Tiger technology. For those of you that have watched our other ones, you'll know that this is the third and final in our series. Previously, in our first webinar and second webinar, we talked about Tiger hardware appliances and their software modules, Tiger Store, Tiger Spaces, and Tiger Spaces MAM. In this webinar, as you can see, we're going to be focusing on Tiger Bridge, which is Tiger's continuous data protection and storage management platform. And that helps users store, protect, and manage critical data. And that can either be on-premise or, as we're going to see in this webinar, in the cloud. So without too much further ado, let's introduce my co-speakers. Hi, guys. For those of you, you probably know me, Nick, Warburton, Global Distribution. I'm really pleased that we're joined by Alex Lefterov, CTO and founder of Tiger Technology, and also Lance Kelson, Executive Vice President of Tiger Technology as well. Thank you so much, guys, for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. It's a real pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks, Nick.
No problem. So, Alex, CTO and founder of Tiger Technology. Tiger Technology started in 2004. You've got over 30,000 users worldwide, 120 customers or something. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey, just so people can get familiar with Tiger?
Yeah, of course. Well, it was really an exciting journey. Like you said, it's more than 15 years now. So we, since the very beginning, we were focusing on solving problems around the storage infrastructure. And our first product was a product that is doing a SAN management software, which, of course, back in the days was something very innovative, and a lot of people were using it in various verticals and various businesses. And we were able to, and lucky to be one of the first to be able to solve this problem and capture a pretty good customer base, which we enjoy working with today. So, as I said, it was really an exciting journey, and we're happy for every choice that we made down the road.
Brilliant. And Lance, you joined the Tiger Technology family a little bit further down the road. What attracted you to work for Tiger, and what have been the milestones while you've been there?
Thanks, Nick. Actually, Alex mentioned being lucky. I have to tell you, I met Alex and team probably about 15 years ago, pretty early on in what they were doing. I was working for a little company called Sony at the time, and I had the great pleasure of meeting Alex and working with him and his team. And I have to say, the thing that impressed me the most is the expertise that they have in so many areas at a very low level with file systems and operating systems and storage and networking, et cetera. It was very, very impressive. So I worked on multiple projects with Alex and team while I was with Sony. And then I guess I had to really test the relationship in the company, because I ended up running a media company and a post-production company and became a customer of Tiger Technology. And I have to tell you, that continued the relationship, because the products are fantastic, and their ability to do what I call technically elegant engineering solutions and software solutions was something that I just hadn't seen before. So it was a pleasure for me to be able to continue to work with Alex by actually joining the team as well.
Brilliant. And as a customer, I'm going to just go off piece, actually. It's just occurred to me. The feedback we get from all our customers is how fantastic the support is from Tiger.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
That's something that
one of the key elements. Exactly.
Brilliant. So let's fast forward now. It's October 2020, as everybody's all too familiar with. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but Tiger have continued to innovate during this difficult time for everybody. And one of the new products that is out, or new version, is Tiger Bridge 4.1. And as I said at the beginning of the webinar, Tiger Bridge is a continuous data protection platform. And that allows you to take data from a Windows server, Windows storage, or, as Alex is going to talk about now, a NAS, and move that to a different tier of storage. And that can be either in the cloud, it can be on LTFS, or it can be on another disk system. So it's an incredibly powerful product. You can apply policies via HSM. So without too much further ado, Alex is going to jump in and take us through there. One thing I will just say is that we are taking questions at the end of this webinar. So there is a chat box underneath your screen here. You've got a keyboard and mouse and things. So please do tap in those questions. We want to answer them at the end. So, but Alex, if you could take us through Tiger Bridge and specifically the new version 4.1, that'll be great.
Yes. Thank you, Nick. So, first of all, before saying a few words about the features that we added in the new version, just a few words about what Tiger Bridge is. Like you mentioned, it is a continuous data protection platform, but actually it is a software package that allows you to build a hybrid storage infrastructure. And by the word hybrid, that means combining typical on-prem storage with things like cloud or tape, and building them in a seamless entity that would allow people to use the best of both worlds, so to say, the speed and the low latency and the productivity of a typical on-prem storage, and couple these with the resilience and scalability of a cloud storage, for example. And we building that, we enjoy working with practically all of the big and not so big cloud vendors, just because we practically enable their cloud storage to be usable in a variety of on-prem workflows. So that's what Tiger Bridge is. Of course, it has been on the market for some time now, and we enjoy a pretty good set of customers, and working on very exciting projects around various verticals, which probably we can touch a little later. But in the version 4.1 that we just released, we focused on a few things that we found to be very important and very sought by our customers. The first is what you just said as the continuous data protection platform. This is something that is very important for, especially nowadays that people are working more remotely. This coupled with the geosynchronization feature of Tiger Bridge, it allows you to really turn the cloud into a fully productive file server. And not only that, but it would allow all the features of a typical file server, including backing up your data, versions, recovery of accidentally undeleted files or maliciously deleted files. And this is a great feature because it allows not only an advanced disaster recovery, but it also allows protection against things like malware and user errors, etc. This is a big feature, and we were seeing a tremendous acceptance from our customers. The other big one, which is the one that we are gathered here to talk a little bit more, is the ability for a Tiger Bridge run machine to actually act as a gateway between a NAS source of any kind and the cloud. So technically that eliminates the original perceived limitation of Tiger Bridge being only Windows, and the choice of Windows was not arbitrary. There is a very good technical reasons to choose the platform. And now it can connect to a variety or any kind of an external source, an external NAS device, be it Linux or Windows or Mac even, and connect it to the cloud. And this is extremely powerful because a lot of the data nowadays are stored in such NAS appliances throughout the world in various verticals. And the final thing that we really paid a lot of attention to in the version 4.1 was basically continuing building the Tiger Bridge as practically as a platform, because it is a product that can solve the problem of building a hybrid solution, but it is also a platform allowing efficient connection between the services of the cloud. And by services, I mean all kind of AI services with on-premise workflows. And because we believe that the future is not in moving your workflow to the cloud, of course, eventually that's going to happen for everyone. But meanwhile, building an efficient hybrid workflow that would allow you to take the benefits of the both worlds would be a key to increase productivity and real value. So these are the main features that we try to make, and we're kind of happy and proud to deliver them to our customers with version 4.1.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex, for that overview. Just picking up on some of the verticals where you see Tiger bridge fitting at the moment. Media and entertainment, obviously, really key for you guys. But also, what other verticals are you seeing customers coming to you for bridge?
Yeah, I mean, because of the nature of the product, practically any vertical that can benefit of building the hybrid storage and the connector between an on-prem storage and the cloud can benefit of that. But of course, the ones that really get a lot of value are the ones that tend to generate a lot of what is called cold data. And cold data is a data that you need to protect and store for a variety of reasons, compliance, archive, etc. But at the same time, you don't need it to take your space or trying to get it to some kind of a lower end tier. Yeah. Such industries are, of course, we have identified these industries to be surveillance, healthcare, oil and gas, and of course this is on top of like media, which you already mentioned, and the standard enterprise file servers.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Well, you're mentioning surveillance, and that neatly leads us on to Lance. Lance has been working hard within Tiger Technologies on the surveillance portfolio. So I'm going to hand over to Lance, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how Bridge can be leveraged in a surveillance environment.
Great, thanks, Nick. Yeah, as Alex said, and you should see a new slide here, the surveillance side of things really was interesting for us because a few years ago, we kind of had an introduction, and we had actually IBM came to us and they were interested in doing something with one of the VMS systems. That's a video management system, not unlike a lot of things we've been doing, obviously, in media and entertainment. So what we did is took a good hard look at that. And so what I'll talk to you about here, and I can show you a real quick example, but as Alex said, people that have a lot of data, and as you guys know, obviously I think the stat is about 800 million cameras out there, on the way to 1 billion cameras that are going to be out there in the world. A lot of people have a distinct need to save that video, and what we're seeing for smart cities and a lot of other applications, people want to store that data for longer and longer periods of time. That's just not practical to put petabytes upon petabytes on-prem and try to store that. So enter Tiger Bridge, and what we've been able to do is apply that technology in a very specific form. What we've ended up doing is working with one of the Canon companies called Milestone, and Milestone has a video management system. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and show you a simple example of that. And what I'll do is switch my screen here, and let's see what you can do this here. And you should be seeing, Nick, why don't you let me know if you can see this so that we know we're good?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, great. So what you're seeing on the screen at this point is the video management system from this company called Milestone, again, owned by Canon. And these are a couple of cameras. It's very, very typical. It's not too much unlike an editing system or other things that we've all seen. And you've got the live cameras, and then I've got the playback. The problem is that people want to store more and more data. We've made it as a plugin inside of the Milestone XProtect product. So we are strictly a software plugin. Normally what you would see on this timeline would just be a red line. The orange, you might guess because of the tiger orange over here, the orange actually means that this data that I'm playing back is not on the system at all. What's happening is we are retrieving it from any of the hot cloud storage providers, and we can retrieve that data live and serve it up to the application without the application even knowing that the data is in the cloud. So that's the huge benefit here. In addition, we allow people to do the following. We allow them, if you look at this part, to determine how much data is going to stay locally on their SSD or RAID or hard drive, how much data is going to be in the hot part of the cloud. And there are 6 different companies that are offering, the primary companies anyway, offering cloud storage. And those range anywhere from $5 to $20 a terabyte a month, by the way. So we can allow the customer to determine how much data is local on their system, how much data comes back in real time, so the application doesn't know it's not there, but this is actually in the cloud. In my case, it's in Microsoft Azure, the hot storage. But in addition, for people that have the long retention period needs and the mandate or a compliance requirement, we also can put data in any of the cloud archive tiers. In the case of Microsoft, it's called Azure Archive. The difference is that's data that typically you're not going to touch very often, because you know you have to store it for compliance. And it will come back, and we make it completely 100% integrated into the application with our Tiger Bridge technology. But this storage tier, the frozen or cold storage tier, is as low as $1 a terabyte a month. So you can see the power of us being able to determine what data is local, what data is in the cloud that still has immediate access, and what data can be in that frozen tier to save a tremendous amount of money, especially for the long retention periods. It's quite great for a lot of people, actually, because again, the economics are such that you've got to find a way to get the price way down so that you can store petabytes upon petabytes of data for a long period of time. And we should, I think, take you back to Nick. That's.
Thank you very much, Lance. That was really interesting. I think exceptionally powerful demo. So just a quick question, Lance. That was in conjunction with Milestone. You're currently working, I assume, with other VMS providers?
Yeah, the Tiger Bridge technology will work with any of the Windows-based VMS providers. The added benefit for Milestone, of course, is the way we've done our plugin. We've been very, very specific to add additional functionality. And honestly, it's what a lot of our resellers would call hitting the easy button. It is extremely simple. It takes 2 minutes to set up. Everyone understands it because it's built inside of Milestone. So that's the big benefit. The other thing, real quickly, is we have a perfect disaster recovery from within inside of Milestone. So if there's a problem with any of the recording or the storage, we can walk them through step by step, and they can recover the data and recover their system within minutes by just reconnecting to that cloud to get the metadata back first, and then only pull the video data back when they really need to. So it makes it brilliant for getting things back quickly.
Great. So just a quick reminder, we've had a question in. We'd like to get some more questions in. So if you're watching live now, beneath the screen text box, please do tap in your questions and send them in to us. That would be really great to get some Q&A going at the end of it. So just to recap, we've heard from Alex at the start just to talk about Tiger Bridge 4.1 and how that can be used to extend NAS into the cloud to create kind of a hybrid workflow. And we talked about the verticals that might support, be it oil and gas, medical, etc., and of course media. And Lance has just given us a very powerful demonstration of how that applies to surveillance market. Now we're going to go back to Alex, and he's going to talk to us in more detail about how Bridge can be used to leverage media workflows in the cloud.
Okay, thanks, Nick. So first of all, I want just to kind of follow up on some of the things that that Lance was saying about the surveillance. So as I mentioned earlier, Tiger Bridge is a platform. So it is a software package that allows you to build a hybrid platform that you can build any solution step on it. And that's why we support practically any application running on Windows platform. But that sometimes that's not enough, because just providing the tools doesn't mean that this is the final solution. And we actually had this experience in the past, and as you mentioned earlier about one of the previous webinars were about our hardware appliances, which were also the same thing. They were trying to package our software technology in a much better and usable fashion. So what we did with this Milestone integration that Lance was showing was exactly that. We have taken our platform and our software solution and made the extra step of making a kind of a end user facing solution, which really solves a particular problem rather than enabling this problem to be solved. And of course, we're working with a variety of other partners that are solving their own solution. They're building their own solution or solving their own problems using our platform. But we found that sometimes you need to just to take your own tools and bring them to the market in a usable way. And obviously, after this really successful product that we built for the surveillance market, we decided to see how much we can enhance and augment the workflow of in our traditional market, which is media entertainment. So besides integrating the Tiger Bridge directly into the Spaces product, which you already covered in the previous webinar, we decided to take a look at what are the real problems that people associate with hybrid workflows. And it's not only the storage. Storage is just the foundation of any workflow, or it's something that where you start from, but it's not where you're going. And what we found in the media is that people really want to use the cloud services. And by cloud services, they range from transcoding services, going to hypercompute, going to AI, cognitive services, etc. And the big guys are really very quick and very much pushing towards building more and more services. You can see that new services pop up in AWS or Azure on a daily basis, almost. So we decided that we're building the storage platform that can link the cloud with an on-prem, that it will be really powerful to link to allow the data that is coming from the on-prem storage to be readily available to be processed by these cloud services, and the results of these cloud services can be then used to augment your on-prem workflow, because that way you're using practically the cloud as an augmenter to your already existing workflow. And we found while developing Tiger Bridge that the real key for every business to accommodate cloud is to be able to make it in a non-disruptive fashion. Nobody likes to redo their business just to adopt a new technology, regardless of how powerful it might end up being. People want to be able to do it at their own pace and when they're ready, and they don't want their workflow disrupted. So what I actually want to show is a little bit how Tiger Bridge as a platform can be used to augment media workflows. And we have chosen Adobe not only because we're an Adobe partner for many years and we have a very good relation with them, but also because Adobe has a very good development ecosystem, and that allows easy integration of third-party tools directly into their portfolio of products. So we've taken our Tiger Bridge platform and we decided to package it in a way that can actually really show value and bring the value of the cloud and the cloud services to your existing on-prem. So I'm going to share my screen and just let me. Okay. So let me know if you see my blue standard Windows screen.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely, Alex.
Okay, yeah. So I'm using a very tiny VM in Microsoft Azure. So what here I'm going to demonstrate is how quickly you can actually access material that is already in the cloud and start working. So basically, I'm going to use this is basically the temporal storage that comes with any VM, which is absolutely the lowest of the lowest kind of in terms of storage. And I need to make just to make the statement that this demo is nothing that doesn't have any purpose of showing performance or some real storage, let's say, capabilities. You know that when you're in the cloud, you always can have as much as you like, as long as you're ready to pay for that. So here I'm using literally the minimum. So basically, what I would do is I'll just launch the Tiger Bridge configuration, and what I'm going to quickly do, you see that I prepared just an empty folder here. So my plan is just to start working on this empty folder as quickly as possible, and this can happen in my laptop, if you like. So what I'm going to do is I just go there and link my empty folder with a pager bucket. Just give me a second. Okay, so so I'll just add a target. I'll use in this case I'll use an Azure target since I'm in Azure anyway. I need to be slightly faster, so I'm going to use these and I have the option to import whatever is there on demand. On demand means that it's not going to take a while just to import or download. It's just whenever it's being accessed, it will be taken. So what immediately happens is, if you see that when I enter the folder, the data start immediately popping up. And so right now I have a bunch of videos here that I'm planning to show how and this folder, if you look at that, it is a 6 gigabyte folder. It's not much, but it's not negligible. So right now I didn't download anything. It's 0 bytes, so I'm just ready to go. So as soon as, and there is obviously some kind of a project here. So as soon as I I open the project here, okay. So you see that as soon as the Adobe opens, that I will immediately be able to start working on the project. So excuse me, it's not the most powerful machine, but so as you can see, it's taking less than a minute to connect to a cloud source that that actually contains some data. So it's like give it a second. It's just the Adobe is for some reason it's not starting immediately. While it just opens, I'll just show the media which I'm using here. So basically, like I said, I have a bunch of files that are that I have prepared for that, and any of these files is previewable. But you see that I don't know what's going on with Adobe. Just give me a second. So it's probably the live demo of some kind. Just let me. Okay, sorry for these guys, but my Premiere is stuck. So see. Okay, so while waiting for Adobe to open, I would show something else quickly, just because looking at the starting screen is not. You know that in Adobe there is this product that comes that is called Adobe Bridge. So I'm going to use yeah, this is my Adobe Bridge, and here I have again in my temporary storage I have another folder which again is empty. In this case, I have connected this folder to another bucket. So let me just open the Tiger Bridge interface and I'll show you. So it's basically connected in this case to AWS bucket. The reason for that is that we made an integration with some of the AI services I mentioned earlier with AWS. So here's what happens. Just to demonstrate, the purpose of that. So here is what I'm going to just drop a few pictures. So I'm just picking, I don't know, just random stuff, and I'll just drop them in the Adobe. Yeah. So right now what is happening is that this is just a folder. These pictures get uploaded to the cloud, and as we speak, because they're not so big, they would get processed by the AI services, which are available in the cloud. And you see that as we speak here, some of the data start populating. You see these are image recognition metadata that are directly coming from the AWS, and we have populated this into the Adobe Bridge. And of course, from here, this is searchable. For example, if I say dog, I see my dogs, and this is using the Adobe platform, which is called XMP, to ingest this data into the files. So it's kind of an augmented files that it can be used for any purpose. And of course, I was trying to show this as a kind of a simple demonstration of how the Adobe, oh, this finally started. So let me see. Oh, okay. So it was displaying in there. So I don't know why it took so. So this is basically just the start of the Adobe, and you can see that I open the project and immediately the data pops up. So so this is some data that I put into the timeline, and I'll jump back to where my folder was, and you can see that I'll show you that in this folder so far, it's just the 162 megabytes have been retrieved from the cloud, and that's just because there is some progressive download while I'm clicking here, and you can see. So I can. It's completely usable. Of course, depending on your cloud speed, it may not be the fastest thing. I mean, maybe, for example, if you try to play this, it may be a little choppy. But of course, it always depends on the kind of virtual machine or cloud connection that you can use. And of course, you can always pre-schedule the download so it can quickly start working. So one other, just to finish on that, another great example of how the cloud services can be used to enhance your workflow is, and again, in this case, I'm not going to do it live here. I have put this is a kind of a trailer for Jumanji or something, where I have put in this folder, and it is uploaded into the cloud. Actually, while I'm talking, I'll just put another file just to generate something. So let's say this Wonder Woman or something. So right now, when you copy this file, it will be started to be uploaded into the cloud. What it is happening is that once it gets uploaded into the cloud, it immediately, we use the transcoding services. We link to the transcoding services that they generate proxy. Not only they generate proxy, but they pass it through the what is called the celebrity recognition. So, for example, this file, which I have pre-processed before, if I bring it here to my project, so and I can show you this file, what is actually happening. So, first of all, note that this file is not so great of a quality. This is because I'm already using the proxy. So, literally, I'm starting to use the proxy without having to download the file at all. Of course, the real file is much higher resolution. Note, please, for example, here these are tags. This tag, if you come to think of it, shows this is the result of the celebrity recognition, and it shows that this is Dwayne Johnson here, and this is again the result of the cognitive services which are in AWS providing these data, and the Tiger Bridge is capable of getting all these data back to the on-premise file and display it directly in Adobe. And of course, the opportunities of using the cloud services for on-prem workflows are virtually limitless because there are a lot of other services. And of course, these are all searchable. And now that you have them in Adobe Framework, you can use these tags for anything. And of course, you can use object recognition, etc. So I'm not going to go much deeper onto that. I was just trying to show how cloud services or their results can be coupled together with a typical on-prem workflow to create something better than what used to be. And that's, I believe, for now, my demo on this.
Alex, I had a quick question that came in. Let me ask you something if you don't mind. Somebody asked, what is the theoretical speed, or what kind of speeds can you get if you're in the cloud and you're talking to one of the buckets or containers also in the same cloud? So you have compute, if you have the compute and the block storage and the buckets or the containers, what kind of speed can you get with Tiger back and forth?
We have worked with that, and so far the best speed that consistent speed that we were able to get from a cloud in a decent machine with this one was around 5 gigabits per second. So that's kind of I believe, the limit of the cloud, what they can deliver to their own virtual machines. I believe this is quite usable for a lot of workflows. Of course, there are workflows that would require more, but that's what the on-prem and the really expensive hardware is for.
Brilliant. I think that was really good. Thanks very much, Alex. So just to recap, what we were showing there was the ability to use Tiger Bridge to move data into the cloud and then run AI services on that. As you saw, Alex put some pictures in there, and we got the metadata, being able to search the sort of dog, etc. stuff. And the key thing, as Alex mentioned, is all that metadata comes back down via Adobe Bridge, if you will, into your Adobe application, and that all becomes, searchable. So, it's very easy to use, and I think people could probably see the value of that, adding that into their workflow as part of these sort of hybrid solutions going forward. And actually, a question for you, Lance, just quickly. Alex was obviously showing this in the context of media. I guess the question is, this would also apply in surveillance?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pop open this diagram so that everybody can see this as well. So, so this is what we were just talking about. Obviously, Tiger Bridge in 3 different geographic locations, for instance, right? So you could have multiple people throughout the world, and as Alex said, the data goes in, it gets processed with any of the cognitive services and AI, and that metadata, and we probably didn't make it clear, but we can also have somebody using, for instance, they might be on Adobe Bridge, which is effectively just asset management. They could be entering metadata manually here, and only the metadata would go up into the cloud, get added onto the existing objects, and then get passed out to the other XMP Adobe applications in other parts of the world. So that whole concept is absolutely something that I've been working with Alex, obviously, on making sure we can do this, because the next step of that is, imagine for surveillance, all of that video camera material that is already in the cloud, being able to have any of the cognitive services do whatever people need it to do. And then what we'll do, just like in this diagram, we'll bring the metadata back from the cloud and put it back into the surveillance system, which allows people to have the best of both worlds, right? They have that long retention. If anyone has an issue, they can mark an in and an out point, analyze that data, get the metadata back into my system, do a search, find anything I need to. And I didn't have to buy a whole bunch of expensive on-prem GPU, et cetera, separate systems just to do this processing when I want to do it.
Okay. So the take-home message is Bridge can be used to move that data to the cloud, perform these processing, AI functions, etc., and that'll populate that metadata back to the to different geos, different people using that around the world. So that's really interesting. Yeah. So we're getting on a little bit in time. We're just going to ask a couple of questions. Still time if people want to send in a quick question, but I've had a couple through. Alex, there's probably one for you. Question here is how does Tiger Bridge differ from Dropbox if you've got a customer using Dropbox?
Well, I mean, first of all, but Tiger Bridge basically has all the features of Dropbox, plus a few more. The obvious one is that it's not tied to a particular cloud provider, so you can make Dropbox with using your own cloud of choice or your even private cloud. So that's one thing which is really lucrative for a lot of people. And the second thing, which is actually the most important, is that Tiger Bridge is not just syncing up data between computers using the cloud. It is connecting a file system with the cloud objects, meaning that you can use this file system for any purpose, not only for surveillance or something, but you can use it, for example, for a file server. It's like sharing your Dropbox to a corporate environment and actually using the cloud as a big corporate Dropbox. So that's actually, and of course, you can still sync it with your laptop at home or something, but like Dropbox. And also the management, the ability that we don't download all the data allows you to connect to terabytes and even petabytes of data from your laptop and just access what you need to. So I would say that it's a Dropbox with extra.
Yeah, Nick, let me add one quick thing. We had a customer, for instance, who's a very large company, and they had a 100 terabyte file server. Without turning off the file server, we could install Tiger Bridge on it. They had 200 people, which you can never do this with Dropbox, for instance. You have a file server, 200 people talking to the file server, added Tiger Bridge, pointed it to a cloud. All of a sudden, those 200 people have infinite storage. And they didn't miss a beat, don't have to reboot the file server, nothing. And it literally, as Alex said, it extends that file system into the cloud and makes it effectively bottomless, right?
Yeah, perfect. And one other question that's come in, again, it's relating to cloud and tape. We've talked about tape talked about Bridge moving data to the cloud. Can it also at the same time move data to tape? So if a customer wanted to copy on tape on-prem, and a copy in the cloud.
Yes, yes, of course you can do. Tape was one of the first targets, and one of the first versions of Bridge was about using tape. Of course, using tape brings some extra challenges, namely that the data may not always be available or needs to be referred to which tape it is, and the tapes themselves needs to be refreshed. So And because of that, for the version of Tiger Bridge, we have a special version for Tiger Bridge, which is really focused on tape customers, that has some extra management tools that would allow you to basically manage your tape. So basically, still the basic functionality is the same, but just it requires some extra management layer that will allow you to see what's where. That's what it is.
Brilliant. And I've actually just got one question from myself. The demo that you did at Alex, that showed Adobe working with a cloud target to edit footage, and you said that's sort of proxy, and that obviously it depends on your connection to the cloud. So in this time, a lot of people still working remotely.
Yeah.
You obviously support Adobe. Are there plans to support other NLE systems for the Final Cut X or Resolve?
Yeah, again, the whole concept of linking the data to the services, it's not really tied to Adobe, so to say. The thing that is really Adobe specific is getting the results and putting them in the proper format. For example, these tags that you saw for these celebrities that you saw in movies, we use the Adobe SDK to put it there so they're visible within Premiere. So basically, the functionality is the same. It's just a separate plugin that needs to be made for any of the other NOEs. And of course, as I said earlier, we've chosen Adobe mostly because of their platform being most powerful. So it's easier, at least.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for that answer. Very clear. So that's it, but I'm just going to quickly drive through a couple of other quick things before we get through to thank yous. As I said, this is the third and final in this series of our Tiger webinars. They're all available, including this one will be available to watch on demand after this webinar finishes. But just as a reminder, if you go to our global distribution channel on Bright Talk, on the 1st of October, it's in date order, we had the Discover the Tiger box, and in that we talked about the Tiger box hardware appliance, the Tiger modules that can be installed on that, so Tiger Store, Tiger Spaces MAM, and indeed Bridge. And we are lucky enough to have Daniel Sasson, CTO of Envy Post-Production, a long-term Tiger customer, and he was in to talk about how Envy use Tiger technology in their facility, and Bridge also specifically. So that was a really interesting one. Following on for that, on the 15th, we had a really in-depth session on Spaces MAM and Spaces. So those two packages help users collaborate, help to organize media, organize users, and actually aid remote collaboration. And of course, today's on Tiger Bridge, as I said, is going to be available shortly. So just quickly, I'll just run through some contact details. Obviously, Alex Lefterov, CTO and founder of Tiger Technology. You can reach him at Alexander Lefterov at tiger-technology.com, and of course Lance Kelson at tiger-technology.com. And you can reach myself, Nick, at nickw@globaldistribution.com. So it just remains for me to say thank you very much to my guests, Alex and Lance, for joining us. Thank everyone to say that's been really informative, and hope thank you very much for your time, and everybody stay safe and see you soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.